there, fellow marketers, Professor Wolters here, and today we're here in Aruba, and today we're going to talk about is how companies evaluate and select different types of media to use in their advertisements, because there's a lot of things you have to think about. I mean, if we look at the guy behind us doing the jet skis and the boat rides and stuff like that, he's got to think about what's the best way for me to reach my potential customer. What media, what form of transmission of these ideas are going to work best for me to reach my customers, right? And so we started thinking about this. What you end up starting to do is what's called media planning. And here you start to evaluate all the different media possibilities that you actually have in order to decide what kind of media mix you should use. So if we think about it here, we're in Aruba, okay? Aruba, okay, there's TV here, but a lot of the TV that comes in here is either from the Netherlands or it's from the US or it's from, South America. So it's not Aruban. So if he wanted to be on those ads, he wouldn't be getting a lot of his clients because that TV channel goes everywhere. I mean, if he's advertising on ESPN, I mean, it's not really going to pay off for his little thing. So TV, I don't know if that's going to be there. What else do they have? There's a few newspapers they do have here in town. They've got some billboards. Oh, there's also the billboards you can put up on your own here on the beach to advertise. You can look at personal selling. Think about all those parts of the promotion mix we could be looking at. Internet ads, maybe we have like some radio spots because people love their music here in Aruba and stuff like that. So you're kind of evaluating all that's out there. Will it work for us? Will it not? Okay, so for a company like this that's only got, hey, we only have a small spot and a few things that people can do from us, our budget's going to be pretty limited, right? So that's kind of limit what we could possibly do. That's why you really do this media planning to figure out is, yes, there's a lot of options out there, but what are the realistic options, okay? And when you start to go down, you want to figure out what is the media mix you're going to use. And so the media mix is just the advertising media that you're actually going to use. So for him, okay, he's going to have the billboards like you can see there. Maybe he has a sandwich billboard out on the boardwalk when people walk by. Hey, you want to go on the boat trips? We can book it here. He's got that. He's also doing personal selling. You'll probably hear the guys asking people if they want to go. They have that. And they're going to focus on that. Maybe what he might do if he wanted to be like, fancy, he could go to the hotel that's right here and say, hey, could I buy some ad space? Negotiated ads, remember this? Could I buy some ad space and advertise my trips on your hotel's website? Because then people are on the hotel's website because they're staying here. That might be something to do. But otherwise, his media mix won't include the TV like I talked about before. It's not worth it. Probably not going to put it in the newspaper because, a lot of people that are here aren't reading the newspaper when they're here in Aruba. They're here to relax. So you don't see too much of those. And so you kind of figure out is what's that mix going to be. And the thing is, if I look at something like an Avengers movie, like one of those big Marvel movies, think of all the media mix that they have. They have the billboard ads, that you see on the highways. They also do the digital ads that show up, on websites and the pre-roll ads on YouTube. They have that. They're also in the Instagram scroll. They also take out ads to say, hey, look, here's the movie theater times. They do a lot of different things out there because they know we've got to reach a lot of people. So we're going to use as many media as we can to get all the different types out there. Because think about it, reaching my parents, yeah, the local newspaper, that's going to work because they're still reading those newspapers. To reach me, oh, well, they're going to put on some Facebook things that are going to go on there and YouTube because that's what I watch. For my kids, what are they going to do? Maybe an ad on TikTok or Snap. And they're going to figure out is what's the best media mix to reach the people we want to make. Okay, so that's why you have to think about is who are we trying to reach? Let's make sure those ads are showing up on the media that target audience is actually going to go for. So that's going to influence your media mix. And then of course you have the media buy. You actually have to purchase those billboards. You have to actually purchase those internet ads, the timing, the radio time if you're going to have a radio spot. And the thing is you have to realize is you may say, oh, I want to make a TV commercial. Well, it is expensive. And the thing is making it is one price, but then placing it, well, it depends what channel you want it on, what time of the day you want it on, right? Oh, if you want to put it on during a very popular football match, well, that's going to be a lot more expensive than if you're putting it at 2 o'clock in the morning on a random channel. No. And that's why companies will spend, $4 million on a Super Bowl ad, like just the spot, because they know people are going to be watching that. Because, not every ad is $4 million. But for the Super Bowl, yes, it kind of is. And you look at it and kind of judge, is my money going to be better spent that way? Is my media budget going to work that way? And so when you do those buys, you have to think about that. That's why you might say, look, we don't have a lot of cash. What's going to get us the biggest bang for our buck? So if you're a nonprofit, what are you going to do? Well, if I need volunteers, I need donations, who are the people I'm going to go for? Oh, those people, they're on Facebook. So I'm going to put most of my buy in buying Facebook ads, not in YouTube ads and not on TikTok or something like that, or some other dead platform or not very important platform. It's going to be Facebook, and I'm going to make sure I buy it so it shows up for that specific group, and I'll make sure it shows up at a specific time, because I'm going to buy the ad to show up at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday or Friday when people are thinking, what are we going to do this weekend? Oh, there's a volunteer thing. I can go pet the dogs, or here in Aruba, I could go to the donkey sanctuary and help out the donkeys. There's a volunteer thing I could do, and so they could get people to come and help. And so you really have to think about all these different things. And sometimes you might get into what's called bidding for ad space. So if you ever notice that you'll get the same YouTube ad over and over and over again, it's because they have bid a certain amount of money, say, look, I'll pay this amount of money to show up as many times as I can until that fills out their contract, and they paid a higher price for that. And then the next company that bid, then that's for the next one that shows up. And you have to think about those things. And the thing is, when you're looking at the different media that you can choose from, you have to realize there's pros and cons for each one. So I'm going to go through some of the media that you could be using in your media mix, so you have kind of an idea of why you should do some, why you shouldn't do others, and things like that. Now, if you're thinking about TV, probably the most popular thing when people think of advertising, they think those commercials out there, the Super Bowl and those funny ads and things like that. Yes, they are great. They're visual, they're audio, you can hear all this kind of stuff. People might like them, but the thing is you have to worry because it's expensive to make TV ads. You got to have the directors and the actors and the cameras and stuff like that by the time on the television. So it is expensive. But the thing is, it actually can be good as well, because think about it. With a TV ad, I can be very targeted. If I'm a home improvement store, right, I can put my ads on the DIY network or the HGTV network, because those people are thinking about doing stuff with their homes, so I can advertise right there. So it can be very, very targeted. But on the other side of it, how many of you still watch cable TV? You know, I cut the cord years ago, and so we only have, we watch, Netflix or maybe you get Disney Plus and things like that don't have ads, so that can be a problem. But hey, it can be very targeted as well, so something to think about. And of course, you also have to think about is, will people actually be watching that channel? Because if they're not watching that channel, you totally miss out on them, which actually is another issue you might have with radio advertising. Now, radio is significantly cheaper to advertise there than versus TV. Also, it can be very much targeted, because you can have different music styles, or maybe it's talk radio or sports radio. You can have a very focused target audience in each one of those radio stations, so you can look for that. So that's really nice. The thing is, though, if you're looking at it, a lot of people use like Spotify or Apple Music or something like that, so there's not really ads anymore. I mean, we have Sirius XM radio, and half the channels are commercial free, so you might not be able to get people to actually hear your ads. Now, another thing we can look at, obviously, since we're on the internet here, you can look at internet advertising, whether you have a banner ad that's up there on the top of a website, or maybe there's a pre-roll ad that was before this video, or maybe if this video is more than 10 minutes long, there might be an ad like right now popping up, or an ad at the end. You can have that. There's all kinds of different internet ads that are out there. Now, the thing that's good about them, it's got sight, it's got sound. Internet advertising is pretty cheap as well. That's why I was saying for the guy behind me, that's going to work out real well for him. But the thing is, though, how many people use ad blockers? And how many of you actually look at the ads that are like probably over there in my video, or over there or somewhere? You're probably not even looking there. So getting people's attention can be tough. That's why companies pay more to have that non-skippable ad, to make sure they have to watch it before they watch that video they want to watch on YouTube or something like that. And the thing is what's good about these internet ads, they can be very flexible. You can have them so it's just entertaining your product, or have them click on a link to go to your website. You can do all kinds of different things with it. And of course, it can be very targeted as well. If it's just a travel thing, like visit Aruba, they could just have it so it only shows up on TripAdvisor things, or when people search for Aruba, then those ads pop up then. So that can be really, really good as well. So there's some different things you got to kind of think about. Now, you can go the old school way, and you can look at newspapers and magazines and stuff like that. Those are also can be relatively affordable, but the thing is, you have to think about it. Are people actually going to get that newspaper? Are they actually going to get that magazine? Are they going to see the advertisement on there? And the thing is, like for newspapers, it's only that day, so they miss today's newspaper, or the neighbor stole their newspaper, they're never going to see that ad. And of course, you have to look at the demographics for the magazine. So it could help you for a magazine, who the magazine's targeting, the newspaper, think about those demographics as well. And the thing is, newspapers are kind of dying off. So you're kind of like, oh, is it really going to pay for itself, even if it is cheap? So you kind of have to think about these things. And the last one I'll talk about is like our buddy behind us is using these Billboard advertising. Now, Billboard ads, hey, look, if it's on the highway and people are stuck in rush hour traffic and they have nowhere to go and they're going 5 miles an hour, they might like look up and see and go, oh, I need to get my hair done like that guy, right? The thing is, though, most of the time people are going 90 miles an hour down the highway, they might miss out. So you have to make sure you're in a high trafficked area, and maybe you need multiple billboards that people finally kind of gets through. And that's the thing is, when you think about it, consumers have so much noise, so much stimulation coming in all the time. How do we get them to notice us? That's why you, in your media mix, you use so many different forms of media, because you know what? That billboard they catch in the corner of their eye, and they click skip ad, but they get that first 5 seconds of the ad on a YouTube video. And then there's a banner that's on the top of their CNN thing when they're reading an article that has an ad. These kind of things, little by little, we start to get a little, like maybe soak a little into their consciousness, so they realize that our product is out there, or our service is out there, or our movie's out there, or our boat trip is out there, and things like that. So I hope this helps you understand a little bit about evaluating and selecting media and the different kind of media that are out there. And there's more media types out there. I just kind of want to talk about the most popular ones. But I hope this does help, and I wish you all the best, and I'll say bye from here in Aruba.